Alright, this is going to be my last video for the night or day, whatever you want to call it, early in the morning. And then I'm going to move on to my next series. So I've got multiple series going on at once here. Alright, so welcome to the Polarity Integration Series, a journey into the real architecture of the masculine and feminine. Alright, so this is going to be a very personal video. This is my own personal experience with what I have come to understand in my prior relationships. So I have been in 2 relationships over the course of over a decade, more than a decade. So I've been in 2 relationships, and I want to talk about the reason why those relationships failed in a polarity language. So this is personal. Not sure if I'm going to upload it or not, but I have done a lot of reflection, a lot of studying. I am pouring my heart and soul into this business and trying to help others understand what is going on in many different ways, personality types, the masculine and feminine, individual and collective integration, the age of Aquarius, many different levels. So I just felt like I should probably open up and explain from my own experience here. So yeah. All right. So why my own relationships have failed. All right, so let me tell you something I didn't understand for years. My relationships didn't fail because I was too much, too emotional, or too intuitive. They failed because I kept meeting men right in the middle of a collective masculine collapse and rebirth. I wasn't dating bad men, I was dating uninitiated men during the most unstable masculine timeline in modern history. And once I finally saw this pattern, everything made sense. So yeah, I'm one of those millennial women that are taking a break from relationships currently and focusing on deep integration myself. So all right, so why every relationship felt the same. For the longest time, I thought something was wrong with me, but now I understand I kept attracting men who were emotionally fragmented, disconnected from self, unsure of their purpose, inconsistent in love, spiritually asleep, and carrying silent father and mother wounds. These weren't weak men. They were men suspended between who they were and who they are becoming. I wasn't meeting them at their best. I was meeting them mid-initiation. Their potential was real, but the structure was not. I was confronting the false masculine. Pattern after pattern, I kept running into that word pseudo confidence, numb masculinity, avoidance disguised as independence, ego disguised as leadership, emotional suppression disguised as strength. So yeah, each personality, Gemini and a Scorpio, was my last 2 relationships in the last decade plus. After each relationship, I certainly dug into that personality type and wrote books. My first one was Gemini, and I just launched a 500-page Scorpio book. And so, yeah, it's a thing for me. When I'm in deep pain, trying to process, I study and go all in with trying to understand on every level possible. All right, so nothing was wrong with them. I was just colliding with the masculine archetype that's currently collapsing on a global scale. It wasn't personal, it was generational. The inconsistency wasn't about me. This is the moment everything clicked. When a man collapsed emotionally, withdrew, shut down, or switched lanes overnight, it wasn't because I was overwhelming. It wasn't because I wasn't enough. It was because their masculine identity couldn't withstand the level of truth, depth, and emotional presence I naturally activated. Their avoidance wasn't rejection, it was dysregulation. My energy touched places in them they have never confronted. My feminine intelligence wasn't blocked, it was protecting me. I used to blame myself for not softening, for being guarded, for being hyper aware. Now I understand my body could feel the instability before my mind had language for it. My feminine wasn't malfunctioning, it was protecting me from collapsing into a man who wasn't anchored within himself. Softness isn't a mindset, it is a nervous system response to true safety, and safety wasn't there. The astrological reality, why this era is chaotic for men. Pluto has been tearing down masculinity for almost 2 decades, so that is the collective grid work here. Pluto in Capricorn, 2008 through 2023. Destroyed external masculine systems, government, corporations, patriarchal structures, the father archetype. Pluto in Aquarius, 2023 through 2044. Now destroys internal masculine identity, ego, roles, identity, social positioning, and collective expectations. Men today are undergoing the largest identity detox in human history. I was dating men while the masculine blueprint was literally dissolving under their feet. No wonder it felt unstable. Why my Pluto in Scorpio generation suffers the most. Millennial women and men. This is a part nobody talks about, but every Scorpio Pluto soul feels. My generation is carrying the karmic weight of the entire masculine feminine collapse. So, Pluto and Scorpios are struggling in relationships. 1983 through 1995 is the most impacted generation. We were born into betrayal, trauma, and truth exposure energy. Pluto and Scorpio rules shadow, trauma, sex, power, death, rebirth, and psychological truth. We are the generation that sees through everything. Lies, power plays, manipulation, emotional mask, and ego performances. We can't unsee what others ignore. So when we date, we feel the man's wounds, the gaps in his identity, the power imbalances, the emotional avoidance, and the unresolved father and mother wounds. We don't deal with surface level relationships. We deal with the underworld of human psychology. It's exhausting because we feel what others refuse to feel. We are the generation meant to expose masculine corruption. We were born to dismantle false power, destroy toxic masculine structures, reveal hidden truths, collapse dysfunctional relationship dynamics. So, of course, our love lives have been the arena where the old masculine dies. We came here to midwife the masculine rebirth, not glide through easy relationships. We attract men who are mid transformation. Our energy triggers awakening. Pluto and Scorpio women especially act as catalysts, truth activators, shadow purgers, and evolutionary pressure. We activate evolution just by being ourselves. So the men we meet rarely arrive fully formed. They arrived unfinished, uninitiated, and in need of spiritual restructuring. Not because we are unlucky, but because we are powerful. Our standards are soul level. We don't want performative masculinity, shallow confidence, or surface level affection. We need depth, integrity, emotional truth, spiritual backbone, and masculine leadership rooted in soul. That eliminates 90% of men automatically. Not because we are picky, because our frequency requires alignment. We are the first feminine generation that refuses to self-abandon. We watched our mothers tolerate dysfunction, our grandmothers survive patriarchy, our ancestors suppress their voices. And we said, absolutely not. We would rather be alone than shrink. So the masculine had to meet us at a higher level. It wasn't sabotage, it was evolution. The reason my relationships ended. My relationships didn't end because I was wrong for them. They ended because I was healing faster, evolving faster, integrating and awakening faster. I was on a soul accelerated timeline. They were still finding themselves. I wasn't meant to stay, I was meant to activate. The man meant for me will arrive post initiation. He will have done his shadow work, have confronted his ego, know his purpose, be emotionally regulated, be spiritually anchored, carry stable masculine presence, and meet me where I already am. We will meet as equals in consciousness, not as teacher and student. I've done so much reflecting on this. My relationships didn't fail because I wasn't enough. They ended because I was loving men who were still dissolving before becoming who they were meant to be. My generation came here to witness the masculine collapse, to feel it deeply, to survive it, and ultimately to usher in the sacred masculine rebirth. We weren't cursed in love, we were chosen for transformation. All right, so I'm going to go more deeper into how Pluto and Scorpio or millennial women love and why we change men forever. I know I'm not the only one here. I follow many, many, many different female creators here on YouTube. I am not coming from a place of hate, from divisiveness. I'm a pretty masculine woman, energetically, and I feel for everyone the same. That is why I'm making all these series, trying to, not trying to, I am certainly giving this different language. I, come from a very different lens than most people. There's only really one woman that I can really look up to, and that's Mina Arfan, spiritually understanding the masculine and feminine, and also in the business world. And yeah, it's just this language isn't common, this knowledge isn't common, the spiritual, intellectual consciousness isn't common. I'm not trying to come from a place of a high horse or anything like that. It is just, there's a lot going on in the collective and on an individual level, and we all are being asked to evolve. And so I've been researching so many different topics for the last 20 years, and so it's not very common. And I'm also isolated on a farm. I'm a very, very busy woman with working full time, taking care of children, running this business. I have multiple businesses, but I am currently focused on this one. And so I am just going to follow my own soul path, my soul purpose here, and teach and focus and pour my heart and soul into this. I care very much so for the younger generations as well as my generation, explaining what is going on. I don't like to be personal. There's many videos that I've made that I've not actually, put public. This is healing for me, and I may or may not take this down. I don't know, but I just wanted to give language to what is going on with myself and many other women. I see you out there. I'm watching you. Yeah, so I want to get more into the Pluto and Scorpio women generation. There is a reason Pluto and Scorpio women are feared, misunderstood, magnetizing, and unforgettable. We do not enter a man's life gently. We enter like a catalyst. We awaken things he avoided. We ignite things he suppressed. We expose things he tries to hide even from himself. So with all of my astro-psychological, spiritual, hermeticism, cultures. Yeah, with all that knowledge, I am very penetrating. I am also a projector in human design, so I am not a judgmental person by any stretch of the imagination, but I certainly can see into people, unlike really anyone I personally know. Online is a different story to a degree. But yeah, I am a very different type of human being, and it's very catalytic. I have lost patience. I am no longer going to, I just love helping people, but I am now in a different phase of my life. I've been extremely activated, and I can't hold myself back or down, or I just can't deal with toxic. I can't deal with uninitiated, toxic, anything. I'm just kind of like on a higher frequency, and it is what it is. I'm not perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. I have my own a mother wound. I am working on my masculine self, healing my own internal masculine self, and this teaching is very healing. And yeah, I'm starting to really see things for what they are, and that is just such a Pluto and Scorpio thing. Candace Owens is on her own rampage of journalism. I always wanted to be a journalist, so I love writing. I love writing books. I love researching relentlessly. I've been this way my entire life, and no matter where you put me, working, college, classes, no matter where I am, church, it doesn't matter. Anywhere I am placed in, I start deconstructing structures, understanding things at a fundamental level, and then wanting to make things more efficient, or just work better. And that's just me. And I understand myself now more than I ever have. That last relationship, this person was a Scorpio stellium. I'm a Pisces. I have a Capricorn stellium, Aquarius Mercury, INTJ mind. And it was by far the hardest activation. It was the hardest lesson. It was very, very soul wrenching ordeal. And yeah, I want to come at this through a business professional. I don't want to diss anyone or anything like that. I was, had my own flaws. I have my own flaws. I made mistakes. We all do. And yeah, it was just very, very difficult. Still healing. And yeah, so my battery is going to die. So I need to get through here. All right. So we are the shadow workers of the zodiacs, millennial, Scorpio, Pluto women. All right, so we are born into shadow work. We are born during rising divorce rates, trauma culture, addiction culture, abuse awareness, therapy becoming mainstream, deep psychological exploration. So millennial women grew up seeing everything. We saw hypocrisy, we saw emotional dysfunction, power being abused. We saw the real motives behind people's actions. No one had to teach us intuition. No one had to teach us psychology. No one had to teach us energy reading. We were born with the psychic night vision, and that means something very simple. We do not love on the surface. We love from the underworld, and that changes people. Our love is transformational, not comfortable. When a Pluto and Scorpio woman loves a man, she doesn't love the version he pretends to be. She loves the real him, the raw him, the hidden him, the unconscious him. We see the wounds he hides with humor. We see the insecurities behind his ego. We see the fear beneath his detachment, the trauma inside his anger. We're not impressed by image, not fooled by charm, not seduced by potential. At first, but not long term. We want depth, we want truth, we want soul. And we pull that out of him often before he's ready. Why men are drawn to us and terrified of us. Pluto and Scorpio women have a unique magnetic field. It feels like intensity, mystery, emotional depth, danger, awakening, sexuality, truth, and soul recognition. Men feel like they've known us in another lifetime. Our presence activates their desire, their unconscious, their shadow, and their buried potential. We don't mean to do it, it's just our frequency. But here's the paradox. The same energy that draws men in is the same energy that scares them away. Because to love a Pluto and Scorpio woman, a man has to face his fear, face his wounds, face his shadow, face his shame, and face his truth. And most men are not ready for that level of exposure. Men are not spiritually or emotionally normally evolve. They don't evolve as quickly as women in those realms, and it is unfortunate. If ever. If ever. Yeah, I am certainly supporting the younger generations and the younger men out there here on YouTube that are teaching this work. I'm extremely freaking proud of those men. Young men that are emotionally and spiritually evolved are one of the most beautiful things. Yeah, I'm not out here dissing, very, very, very supportive. I truly am very supportive, but I refuse to do that in my own personal life anymore. I'm not doing it. So anyways, yeah, I'm just like happy to see certain men that are in this realm that are mature, and it's so beautiful. I love it. I know, I'm not like blanket statement saying all men are not integrated or not conscious or not spiritual, No, I'm not that ignorant. All right, so we trigger his evolution, not his comfort. So when I love a man, I don't activate his ego, I activate his soul. And that requires accountability, integrity, emotional depth, vulnerability, presence, spiritual awakening, sexual honesty. The down low thing. Many of my generation of women are calling out the down low issues, and that's a real thing going on. There's so much changing right now, and there's no no going back. No going back. So Pluto and Scorpio women do not tolerate avoidance, cowardice, inconsistency, half-truth, emotional laziness, or spiritual sleepwalking. We demand evolution by simply being ourselves. And that embodiment, we demand embodiment. Some men rise to it, others collapse under it, but none leave unchanged. Why we attract wounded men at first. This part hurts, but it's true. Pluto and Scorpio women often attract traumatized men, emotionally unavailable men, avoidant men, men with mother wounds, men addicted to numbness, men afraid of intimacy. Why? Because we are the initiators. Our soul came here to bring shadow to light, not just for ourselves, but for others. And wounded men subconsciously recognize us as the feminine force who can resurrect them. But here's the twist. We cannot heal a man who refuses to meet himself. We cannot save a man still running from his shadow. We cannot carry a man into depth. He must walk it willingly. This is why relationships with us either become life-changing or heartbreakingly short-lived. Why men never forget us. A Pluto and Scorpio woman cannot be replaced, not because of ego, but because of impact. We show men intimacy they've never felt, honesty they've never received, sexual depth they didn't know existed, emotional connection they didn't think they deserved, psychological clarity they've never experienced, and spiritual awakening they were terrified of. We touched places in them no one else has touched, and even if they run, they remember. They remember how they felt, alive, raw, seen, exposed, and expanded. We are the feminine that awakens, not the feminine that pacifies. What a Pluto and Scorpio woman actually needs, or a millennial woman. We are intense, but we are not complicated. What we need is simple but rare. We need a man who is emotionally courageous, accountable, spiritually awake, sexually honest, mentally stable, protective, transparent, anchored, self-aware, and unafraid of depth. We need a man, honesty, Jesus, like, honesty, number one. We need a man who won't collapse when the emotional temperature rises. A man who isn't intimidated by our intuition. A man who doesn't run from intensity. A man who can hold space for our fire without trying to extinguish it. We don't need control. We don't need games. We don't need dominance. We need presence. We need trust. We need devotion. Why we change men forever. When a man leaves a relationship with a Pluto and Scorpio woman, he is never the same. We awaken his emotional depth, his shadow awareness, his spiritual calling, his vulnerability, his true desire, and his masculine purpose. And after that level of connection, he can't go back to superficial love. We change his standards. We change his understanding of intimacy. We change how he sees women. We change how he sees himself. We don't teach men, we initiate men. So in closing, a Pluto and Scorpio woman is not here to play small. We are here to expose truth, to awaken depth, to resurrect the masculine, to transform love. We love like alchemists, and we leave every man we touch closer to his own soul. That is our gift, that is our power, and that is why we are unforgettable. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to keep this up or not. It's extremely personal. I've been doing a hell of a lot of personal understanding of myself and of all of these dynamics collectively, personality-wise. You know, I see a lot of the millennial women are choosing not to be in relationships at all. And I understand that swing. It's an extreme swing. I don't agree with that. I'm kind of more in a place of focusing on the spiritual, psychological work. And I'm not going to get into a relationship that does not honor that. For me, I have attracted very controlling men. I don't know. It's the controlling factor. Yeah, it's wild to me. I'm not sure if I want to say anything else. I do need to get going here. I think that's all that I have to say right now. It is a wild time. It is truly a wild time. Yeah, relationships are completely changing. Politics are changing. The internet is changing. Spirituality. This time itself it seems to be more fast paced. All truth is, the secrets are being exposed in every way that you can imagine. And so I would suggest that you be extremely radically honest with yourself and other people. There's just no sense in anything else, in my opinion. It's wild It's wild. Anyways, keep your head up. I hope that my own experience and this language and framing and explanations are helpful to you, and definitely keep on your soul path. Number one, take care of yourself, love yourself, heal your inner wounds, work on your nervous system regulation. If someone makes you feel chaotic, obviously that's not a good thing. Cut those relationships. If you're being controlled, that is certainly a sign. Listen to your intuition. Watch out for the red flags. Don't fall for intensity, love bombing. Relationships should move slowly, steadily, safely. Yeah, just protect yourself for sure. Protect yourself. All right, take care, like and subscribe. I may or may not keep the comments on this one. I don't know how I'm going to take this video, what direction. But anyways, hopefully you learned something, and I will see you in the next video.